Why and how did skirts become so incredibly short in the 1960s?
If the adults don't like it, that's only because they don't want to be a part of it. That's their tough spot.
Next, you never know what new clothes you're going to have. And all of a sudden, we have a feeling of being a generation and having some sort of bond with every other teenager on the street.
Have you ever looked back at a photo and thought, how did it go from this to this? From sci-fi inspiration to Twiggy's signature look, let's dive into why the mini became a 1960s staple. In the 60s, it was more widely acceptable to wear shorter dresses and skirts than had ever been in fashion. Women were pushing boundaries that had never been crossed before. But why did this happen? What led up to these historic moments in fashion history? And well, while Twiggy is most notably known for her short skirts and long legs, she wasn't the one that pioneered it. A designer by the name Mary Quant helped push the 50s out of the knee-length skirts to the shortest it had ever been.
Fashion's always changing. It's always about the next thing. It's there, and then I think that one takes from it what one wants to use for oneself, and you leave the rest there.
She opened her bazaar surprisingly in the mid-1950s and pushed for the new age of fashion. It wasn't until the mid-1960s when it became her time to step in the limelight.
Hotel. When Mary Quant invades new realms of fashion, bright young girls are interested, and so is the national press. As the outcome of...
She said her inspiration came from seeing a ballet dancer in their costume, and after that, it sparked a revolution. Teens grabbed a hold of this look and took it for themselves. They wanted to be different and not like their parents. From matching tights to short hemlines, she helped start it all. How did a society that once was so shy and modest for showing off their legs change so easily?
Ground Martian cities.
When television sets became a general household item in the 50s, all of America's eyes were beaming at these glamorous stars, and people would get used to seeing more skin. Take, for instance, these two sci-fi movies. Both feature a main star with a rather short skirt. Now, if you didn't know any better, you would just assume this is from the 60s, but in reality, it was from 10 years prior. And movies like this would help garner the miniskirt revolution. Women were following these trends of their favorite TV stars, and companies were cashing in on that. Take, for instance, the Brady Bunch.
So you'll have to check with us on what you wear.
What I wear?
While this episode appears in the 70s, you can still tell the effect it had on our society from the outfits they wore.
I'm sure I'm not the type because I do think this is funny.
In all, skirts were chopped off from being 15 inches all the way up to 8 inches. That fashion became their art pieces. They were their own canvases. So overall, you can thank sci-fi dramas, a fashion designer, and the TV sets for creating these new groovy looks. If you would like to see more videos like this, I post 3 times a day on TikTok and Instagram. The links are in the bio, as well as the sources from these videos. And don't forget to have a groovy weekend.
Because I believe that fashion is for real life people and not for a small minority.